Folks, I'm beside myself right now. Very disappointing. Next week, show's taking a road trip. We'll be broadcasting from Austin State Capitol Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. And apparently, I just got this email. I'm going to miss Diversity Week over at Texas Tech. Texas Tech, they just sent out an email announcing their Diversity Week-long events. They write, in an environment where diversity is celebrated in all forms and fashions, Texas Tech Student Union and activities in partnership with the Division of Institutional Diversity, Equity, and Community Engagement will begin this year's 2015 Diversity Week with a kickoff celebration on Monday, March 23rd. Oh, I can't wait. Some of these are great. I'm just going to read some of these. Diversity Week kickoff. From 12 to 1:30 over the Student Union, hosted by the Division of Institutional Diversity, Equity, and Community Engagement. Texas Tech will begin Diversity Week with food, entertainment, and resources from various multicultural student organizations. Well, that sounds fun. And then they get into this. Now, this one I'm really sad to miss. Jody, I know you're not a student, but I'm hoping you'll go to this. Over on March 24th, they call it a her story, not a history, a her story of Black Lives Matter. They say this is Texas Tech's Women's Studies program, which is a treat. If you ever follow the Texas Tech Women's Studies program on Twitter, oh my goodness, it's like Elizabeth Warren, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi got a hold of their Twitter account and just started squawking about everything. The Texas Tech Women's Studies program will lead a discussion on the building of the Black Lives Matter movement as seen through the eyes of women of color on campus. Now, you know where the Black Lives Matter thing started, right? This is the whole gentle giant Mike Brown deal. This is the whole false narrative that's out there that white people and white cops in particular just want to kill black people. And that overall America in general does not see black lives as mattering. It's the false narrative that was created that's out there. And it started a hashtag campaign, hashtag Black Lives Matter. So I guess now over at Texas Tech, they're going to adopt this and teach everybody about Black Lives Matter. And let me tell you, the some of the folks who really get into the Black Lives Matter hashtag activism, they get very offended when you do hashtag Cops Lives Matter. Oh, they don't like that. They don't like that at all. Christian Lives Matter. Oh, they disagree. Don't you do that. Don't you have a takeoff on Black Lives Matter? But Black Lives Matter, it's all based on a lie of Mike Brown having his hands up, don't shoot. It's all based on a lie and this narrative that continues to be out there and fanned by these idiot activists that try to make everyone believe, or try to make a lot of black people believe, that America as a whole doesn't like black people and that your lives don't matter. So they'll be celebrating Black Lives Matter over on the Texas Tech campus. They'll also have Diversity in the Dark. That sounds racist. Diversity in the Dark. Students will engage in conversations about diversity and social justice. Oh, maybe they can bring back, what's her name? Angela Davis. Talk about, how to, and I'm surprised this is not one of the things, because when talking about social justice, Angela Davis, she's big into social justice. She could actually teach about how to buy a couple of guns that are used in future murders. She could teach a 1-hour course on that. And then later on, how to become this great public figure in some people's minds. But there's social justice in an anonymous, stress-free environment. This sounds like Starbucks. A panel of advocates through Texas Tech's Social Justice Education Committee, boy, that sounds like a fun committee, will answer questions about diversity and social justice while in an unlit room. What? Well, that just sounds stupid and quite dangerous. They will also have a film screening of a film called Dear White People. The Division of Institutional Diversity, Equity, and Community Engagement will feature a social satire that follows the stories of 4 black students at an Ivy League school where controversy breaks out over an offensive party thrown by a bunch of white students. Damn, you white people. They just need to have, maybe I can lead, well, no, I'll be out of town. Next year, maybe. I can lead a panel discussion, damn you white people. Because that's basically where we're going, right? Lead a panel discussion, it's Whitey's fault. Everything's Whitey's fault. And then I'll do a panel, can't take a joke. And it'll be all these liberal groups that'll probably include the Division of Institutional Diversity. They can't take jokes. They don't like theme parties. They don't like any of this, unless it's a theme party about white people. And then that's okay. That'll be all right to have. They will also have a photo contest for diversity. I don't know what all that'll entail. Yeah, so it's just some of the events over there to celebrate diversity. I thought every week was Diversity Week on a college campus now. I had no idea that we just had one dedicated week to Diversity Week. I thought that was all the time. We had to take into consideration diversity all of the time over on college campuses. But now it's just 1 week. 1 week of the year, Blame Whitey Week, as I call it. If they could get away with it, and here in a few years they will do it. There will be a panel, Blame Whitey Week, where we just blame, because look, folks, if you really boil down a lot of what these social justice professors and advocates and everyone else will say, it's all Whitey's fault. At the end of the day, that's what they blame. Every ill in the world is because of the white man. The reason there aren't jobs in the black community is because of the white man. The reason why you have more blacks in prison is because of the white man. It's all because of Whitey. At the end of the day, that's what, if you boil it down, that's what all these arguments are. It's all white people's fault, and white people don't like anyone else. I mean, that's the argument that's thrown out there to students. So they try to convince other students, self-hating white people. You need to blame yourself. You need to look inside. Look inside at the institutional racism that you have, the racism that you were taught at a young age. Of course, Texas Tech does have a Starbucks on campus, so I'm sure they'll still be doing the Race Together, campaign as well. Just don't take your hot coffee after getting a lecture into the diversity in the dark room, because that would be very bad. Because number one, you already have a lecture. You got a lecture about, you being white and about how you hate everybody else. And then you're going to go, that's just a depressing day right there. You get a lecture about how you're white and you're to blame for everything. It's all your fault, and you're probably racist because you haven't gone over to a black person's home to have dinner lately. You haven't done anything like that. Now it's time to go to diversity in the dark, and it's really dark in that room. And if you say it real loud, diversity in the dark, I'm going to go to the dark room, someone at Starbucks might think you're racist. But you're walking into the room, you trip over somebody because it's dark, and you spill your coffee that you paid $5 for, and you had to go through a lecture. 770-5790, toll free, 1-800-687-0790. Blame Whitey Week next week over at Tech. We'll be right back. Chad Hasty Show, News Talk 790 KFYO. Thank you very much for tuning in. To the phones we go. We've been talking a little bit about Diversity Week. What's week next week over on the Texas Tech campus? Robin.
Hey, Chad. How you doing this morning?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. My wife is a student over at South Plains College right now, going to nursing school. One of the prereq classes that they're making her take is called Minority Studies. And exactly what they teach in that class is that white people are at fault for everything that's going on to everyone else in the world.
Why is she required to take that course?
It's a prereq that she has to take. I didn't understand it myself, but she had to watch this thing on YouTube here last week by a gentleman named Kim Wise, and he does a whole speech about how white people are at fault for everything in the country, and he's a white guy, liberal, of course.
Right. And a self-hating white guy.
Yep.
Yeah, they're the best.
They are the best.
And what is his name again?
Tim Wise.
Tim Wise.
W-I-S-E.
All right. I'm going to look this guy up.
Yes, sir.
If I want to put I'll probably have to have a drink next to me if I watch the video, but yeah,
might be more than one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, that's, but you look at a lot of college campuses, and it's not just South Plains. They are making a lot of their freshmen and undergrads go through classes like this,
Yes,
like minority studies or even multicultural whatever. And I had to take a multicultural class over at Tech, and the amount of times I just rolled my eyes at how much the white straight people on earth are to blame for making everyone else feel bad. I mean, it's just that's what you hear about all the time.
Yeah, the teacher even made a point in class that she was at a restaurant eating and had a problem with her food. And when she asked for the manager, and the manager came over and it wasn't a white person, that she got offended because it wasn't a white manager. And she was like, that's how a lot of people are in the world today, that if you don't, you want somebody in power and you don't get white people, you get pushed off by it.
Wow.
I don't see why it should matter if you're white, black, or what color you are. If you're the person for the job, you're the person for the job.
Yeah, but that makes sense. What you're saying makes sense.
Yes, sir.
All right, Robin, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chad.
Man, that's what a lot of these things boil down to. They sound nice at first. They sound like, oh, we're going to open up people's eyes. But at the end of the day, if you really – and I went through these classes at Texas Tech. I had to take some of these type of classes over at Texas Tech, and it really was at the end of the day boiling down to white straight Christians. You people have caused so many problems in the United States and throughout the world. Especially you men. If you're a male, straight, white Christian, oh boy, you really screwed up the joint. You really messed things up. And so we're going to make you feel bad. We're going to open up your eyes. We're going to try to, and I'm telling you, I watched as students went from your normal, average student to self-hating white guy that would give lectures to other white people about how bad they were and about how you were just taught racism without even knowing it, without even knowing you were racist, you're racist. And there are people to this day, it was said on my Facebook page by a guy who was successful guy, but still blames every white person out there for everything that's ever gone wrong.